joins us now on the right to against here in Scottsdale, just down the road where he lives. Today he's at Augusta National. How you doing, Tom? What's going on?
Well, I'm windblown.
Yes.
I can only imagine how those guys out there on Augusta National are feeling this afternoon. It's a pretty rugged day.
It looks like it's a Pebble Beach type wind. Is it to that level?
It's just really gusty. It's blowing pretty hard. I mean, it's probably blowing 15 to 20, but the gusts are stronger and they're kind of all over the map. They're just the wind is moving around and it's making it really difficult. I mean, that anybody who shot even par today, or even better, or even one over, I think has played a heck of a good round today and should be pretty proud of it. Tiger Woods should be thrilled with what he accomplished today.
Is that a pretty big buzz? We were talking about that earlier, Tom, that Tiger Woods made the cut, hasn't played a lot this year. He's been rehabbing and doing. Is that a big story there on the grounds there at Augusta?
I mean, he's got a huge crowd. I mean, of course, you would expect that. He had a great pairing, but they're all following him mostly. Yes, it is. And he was so focused. He's been so focused. You can tell that he's focused. You know, he means business. He's out there working hard, grinding himself. He's just looking like, a guy on a mission. And you know what? He's only one really good round away from being right in the middle of this thing. I mean, the way the course is playing, the greens are getting firmer and the wind will die down some, but it's not going to go away completely. If he can play a great round tomorrow, he's right back in it.
What do you say about 24th consecutive cut he has made at the Masters? He just broke the record of Freddie Couples and Gary Player, guys that you know real well. How achievement is that?
Well, look, at nothing he's ever done has ever, totally surprised me. He's the only guy that I know, and maybe, of course, I really wasn't playing when Jack was out there and Arnie and those guys, but he's the only guy I know in my generation or just behind who consistently has exceeded expectations no matter what the situation. So that's just another achievement that is, fitting of Tiger.
What is it that when you look at that course and those 24 cuts, as Brock alluded to there, Tom, that's more amazing than a lot of people don't realize coming off of his injuries? I know he's probably rebuilt himself 3, 4, 5 times with a lot of injuries over the years on top of all that. What is it about the 24 cuts that we don't realize how difficult that is?
I think when look at, I don't even know what, if you had to ask him to be honest about, hey, what are you playing? Are you playing at 60%, 70%, 80%? And what are you? Think about where you were at your best.
Yeah.
And think about where you are right now. What percentage of his healthy self, is he? And I think that's, to me, what's so remarkable is that he's had to find a way to overcome injuries, surgeries, issues, and whatever it might be, and still compete. And it's not easy to do. I mean, and it just speaks to, I think, his dedication to whenever he plays golf, he plays to be the best he can be. And one thing about Tiger, and I know that if you were on the phone with us, you would absolutely totally agree, is he's never quit on one shot ever. I don't care what the situation, or whether he's playing the worst golf of his life or the best, he has never, ever not given his very best on the golf shot right in front of him, and that's a pretty remarkable character trait.
He's Tom Lehman joining us here on Fox Sports 910. Tom, is there much talk with the LIV guys and the PGA Tour? Any new news on that eventually coming together?
No, pretty mum's the word, and I'm happy about that. I mean, we're at the Masters, and I'd love to see everybody just focus on the Masters. So, that doesn't. I think people talk about it amongst themselves. When you see Greg Norman wandering around the crowd and saying he's there to support his boys, it's like, okay, well, there is that issue underneath the surface still, but it's all about Augusta. It's all about the Masters, and I'm really happy we can keep it that way.
And let's talk about the Augusta and the Masters, Tom, as you prepared for your many years of playing out there. These guys nowadays, is there anything different than what they're preparing for, what they're getting ready for the course? And I know the course has been lengthened quite a bit since your heyday several years ago. What is different, or what is more challenging for them nowadays?
Well, they've made the course tighter. I mean, they brought in some trees and places where you're not able to kind of spray it around quite as much. And it wasn't like you ever could spray it a lot, but there was generally some room out there. And and maybe there's a little less room out there. And the course is longer. I don't know that that's really made a difference.
Sure.
I mean, the guys hit it so far that it's, watching on the television to see where they're hitting it, and like they're driving it up there where we used to drive it. So it's, that's kind of the sign of the times, I suppose. But the greens have always been the issue. They always will be the issue. It's a second shot golf course. You got to putt well, and nothing has changed. The greens, they haven't changed. Maybe slight little modifications here and there to make an adjustment, but it's the same set of greens that is going to test people in the past, and it's going to test them in the future. And that's why it's really nice, so you can truly compare, how guys play today versus yesterday, and how they play in the future. Because of course, with those greens, it kind of gives the same test year after year after year.
And let's say the conditions are perfect, not a lot of wind. It's 72 to 75 degrees. When you were playing there, was there a group of holes that you could make a charge at, Tom, or was there a group of holes that you were more conservative with, or just depend on just if you were feeling it that day?
The always, gave players more chances. I mean, you could, shoot low scores on the front, and I think everybody has over the years. They shot good scores on the front nine, but the back nine is the one that gives the opportunities. There's, it's kind of like if you got past number 10 and 11. And the game is shut up. You can manage 12, but 10 and 11 were the keys for the back nine. Just if you get by those two holes, then you have 7 holes, which potentially you can make birdie on. And they got to a point in the past where they really toughened up that back nine. But it feels kind of like they've understood that it took a lot of the drama out when they made it too tough, and they seemingly backed off a little bit on that to give players the opportunities they always had in the past to shoot a really low round on the back nine on Sunday. And really, that's what we all watch. We all know that it's the back nine on Sunday at Augusta is where it's flat, and that's the place where you can potentially shoot something super low.
Tom, what would you say? I mean, the average golfer couldn't tell you if you said it's a 10 on the step meter when it comes to the greens. Most people wouldn't know that. I mean, I can only know by the course that I always play, and it's probably always a 9 or 10. So I can only go by the club that I'm at in Scottsdale. But what is it there at Augusta? And can you compare it to anything in the Valley?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Well, you could. No, that's not true. I think in the winter time with some of the courses that overseed with the power trip and the bent, and I mean, you can get those babies really moving fast. I mean, TPC Scottsdale is a perfect example, but if you go to Phoenix Country Club or anywhere like that, the greens could be lightning.
3 minutes.
So the speed is comparable, and it can be comparable. They're very, very fast, and then they can be very firm. So that's, you can get those conditions back home in the winter, but nobody has the kind of slopes and the shapes within the greens and the sides of the greens in places. And, I would say like the 14th hole and the 5th hole, and, holes where you can bounce it up, but there's big bumps in the front and big slopes side to side or back to front. Nobody in town has that. So they're unique in the world of golf.
So for you, Tom, going back there, it seems like you're not, whether you're playing or doing corporate events. What is it that you always look forward to when you go to the Masters?
I like to get out early, and I'm an early guy. I get out there in the morning, and I like to watch guys play some. I like to watch, go to the range and watch them warm up. But the thing I think at this stage of the game is, I don't get on the course tons and tons and watch. I mean, you can see better on TV, and but the people you see, you see people from all through the game of golf, and whatever level of play and whatever type of occupation they do that supports golf. You think about if you're involved with golf, probably going to be at Augusta, and that's the golf organizations from around the world, and just everybody's there. And so the people you bump into, the people you talk to, the ability to watch these young guys play, to watch them prepare, it's just it really is a special week.
Tom, thanks for making time for us, man. We always appreciate you. Thank you.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Guys, good talking to you too.
It's Tom Lehman joining us from Augusta National as a very, very windy day there in Georgia. Good stuff there.
15 to 20 miles an hour and gusting up to 35, 40 miles an hour. I'm just, to me, the way these guys handle their scores to shoot even, in that kind of weather. I mean, it just tells you how good these guys are. And then to talk about the greens, you his first say, well, no, but there might be a couple that.
I wish you could compare it because I mean, he could tell us that the 7 meters 12. All right, I know that's a big number, so it's going to be fast, but I can only compare to where I play.
Sure, yeah,
or where anybody plays.
Yeah,
because we all say that. Oh man, I played XYZ course the other day. The greens were so fast, or these are too slow.
And then talking about Tiger, how for Tiger, it's always been one shot at a time. And I think that's the greatest thing for a lot of young athletes or athletes per se is whether it's one play at a time, one shot at a time. It's his focus. But guys, his age, 24 cuts at Augusta with all he's been through. And you heard Tom talk about his back, his neck, and what percentage were you, Tiger, making some of the? I made this cut at 60%. I made that one at 80%. Just his drive to make those cuts and Masters be his focal point in his career.
Tom Brady is in the news because he needs attention. We'll tell you what that's all about next. Right there, Ray Toyota. It's Fox Sports 910.